Hale End have given Arsenal a future superstar who's like a young Saka. Arsenal are a club with a proud history of developing and promoting young talent into the first team. Mikel Arteta has carried that tradition on during his time with the likes of Emile Smith-Rowe, Eddie Nketiah, Ethan Nwaneri, Miles Lewis-Skelly, and now Max Dowman, all getting chances under him. However, when it comes to the most successful Hale End product under the Spaniard stewardship, it's hard to ignore Bukayo Saka, who has become a world-class superstar in recent years. So, fans should be very excited about another young prospect making his way through the academy who has been likened to a young version of the England international. Saka's academy journey. Saka joined Hale End as a 7-year-old, with him later revealing that it was his father who pushed for him to join the club over others. The Ealing-born gem made his debut for the club's under-18s against Fulham in August 2017, a game the Gunners would lose 4-1. The youngster would end that season with a respectable haul of 8 goals and 4 assists in 22 games. The following year, he made just 6 appearances for the under-18s and 24 for the under-23s, scoring 6 goals and providing 9 assists for the latter. However, that was also the season in which he made his first team debut, away to Ukrainian side Vorskla Poltava in the Europa League group stage under Unai Emery. At this point, the exciting prospect was still very much seen as a left-sided attacker and had made just a single appearance on the right across both campaigns. The 1920 season brought the end of Saka's time in the academy setup, as he made just 1 appearance for the under-23s in a Premier League 2 game against Everton, which they drew. In all, the now 24-year-old made 28 appearances for Arsenal's under-18s, in which he produced 22 goal involvements, and 25 appearances for the under-23s, in which he produced 15. Everyone now knows how the rest of the story goes, and so fans should be excited that there is another Hale End talent currently being compared to Saka. Arsenal's next Saka. With the likes of Nwaneri, Lewis-Skelly, and now Dowman, it feels like Hale End can't stop producing incredible talents. And the next one off the line might just be Brando Bailey-Joseph. The 17-year-old has been so impressive in recent months that despite only signing scholarship terms with the club a few months ago, he has already put pen to paper on a professional deal. Moreover, according to one analyst, he is currently looking very reminiscent of a young Saka. The argument he puts forward is that, like the Gunners' talisman, there's been a lot more talk around other youngsters in the academy over him, and he is just quietly plugging away in the background. For example, in 16 appearances this term, totaling 1,098 minutes, he has scored 4 goals and provided 4 assists. That comes out to an average of a goal involvement every other game, or every 137.25 minutes, which would be pretty good for a striker, let alone a winger who's been moved between both sides over and over again. In addition to the output, the analyst also points out that, like Arteta's mercurial number 7, he has shown an incredible technical ability in the academy. This is an opinion shared by Hale End expert Will Balsam, who claims that the youngster's fire feet, chopping into the grass constantly, make it impossible for defenders to know what's coming. Ultimately, while it's so early in his journey, Bailey-Joseph looks like he could be the next Hale End star to make it in the first team and follow in Saka's footsteps on the wing. Rules expert. Very strong case, Chelsea versus Arsenal goal should not have counted. Although Chelsea were reduced to 10 men following Moises Caicedo's red card and the Blues' 6th of the campaign, Enzo Maresca's men were able to pick up a draw against the table-topping Arsenal. The All-London encounter at Stamford Bridge endured no shortage of refereeing controversies, and a rules expert has claimed there's a very strong case that Trevoh Chalabo's goal should have been chalked off. With the West Londoners on top of proceedings from minute 1, they finally broke the deadlock in the 48th minute after Chalabo latched on to Reiss James's cross. Undeterred by the fact they were reduced to 10 men in the first half, the Blues continued to push and prod, but Arsenal eventually scored. It took until the 59th minute for Mikel Arteta's side to grab a goal. Martin Odegaard played the ball into the feet of an overlapping Bukayo Saka before the England winger cut back onto his left foot and teased a ball into Chelsea's danger area. His teasing ball, directed toward the far post, was met by midfielder-turned-striker Merino, and he nodded beyond Robert Sanchez to make it 1-1. Rules expert. Very strong case, Chelsea versus Arsenal goal should not have counted. As mentioned, referee Anthony Taylor, from kickoff until the final whistle was blown, endured a busy day at the office, and that included Caicedo's sending off in the first half. And following the draw, as both sides scored a goal apiece, rules expert Dale Johnson has claimed there's a very strong case for Arsenal fans to be peeved off about Chalabo's opener. Following David Raya's save from João Pedro, James produced an inviting cross, and it was met by Chalabo. But did Chelsea midfielder Enzo Fernandez, widely regarded as one of the best midfielders in the world football, play a major role in the ball evading contact from Arsenal duo Christian Mosquera and Piero Hincapié? Indeed, Fernandez was standing in an offside position and was very close to Hincapié and Mosquera, and there were questions raised over whether the Argentine influenced the decision-making of either central defender. His positioning begs whether Mosquera and Hincapié, who were standing in for William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes, were prevented from making contact with the ball. As evidenced by the footage below, it is clear that Fernandez had his arm on Hincapié's back, and as a result, Johnson insists a very strong case can be made for the central midfielder who became one of the most expensive transfers in Premier League history following his move from Benfica in January 2023, being offside. He claims it comes back to a question of consistency again. Those manning VAR, however, did take a look at the home outfit's goal, and they came to the conclusion there was no impact on the defenders. According to a report from Sky Sports, the IFBA deems a player offside if they prevent an opponent from being able to play the ball, if they challenge an opponent for the ball, or if they make an obvious action which clearly impacts on the ability of an opponent to play the ball. The situation of Fernandez brings all three of the criteria into question. While Mosquera's right hand is technically level with Chelsea's number 8, the laws of the game state the hands and arms of all players, including the goalkeepers, are not considered in offsides, as you cannot gain an advantage by using your hands in football. Previous offside calls this season raise eyebrows. Van Dijk's goal for Liverpool against Manchester City was chalked off after it was deemed that Andy Robertson was in an offside position. Although the Scottish defender didn't touch the ball, he was adjudged to have affected play by being in Donnarumma's eye line of vision. A ball into the box caused havoc for the Reds, and Murillo, after acting the quickest to the loose ball, swept home past Alisson in the 33rd minute. Forest winger Dan Ndoye, in an offside position, looked to be blocking the view of the seasoned goalkeeper, though the goal was allowed as Ndoye adjudged not to be in the seasoned goalkeeper's eye line.